Good morning. Dan, as Dan said, he just asked me to make a quick presentation, but I noticed in the schedule I'm down for half an hour, but it'll just be 10 minutes so you can get ready for an early lunch. Today, I just want to talk really about many of our customers around the world are looking to extend the life of their presses and enhance their presses, the performance of their presses, and you know it's important for them because they can't afford to replace the presses, and it's also important for us. Today it represents about 30% of our business of upgrades and enhancements. So I'm just going to give you a short presentation about a project we completed with Star Malaysia today. Okay, Star is they're the largest English language newspaper in Malaysia, and they have a daily circulation of in excess of 400,000 copies, and it's a heavy pagination product. It's a tabloid product and very successful. We installed 3 colour liner presses. These are double width presses in the early 90s, and they completed a review, and the management decided that they wanted to extend the life of these presses up until 2030. So they got together with us and asked us to put a program together to upgrade the equipment, replace the redundant components, and all this while maintaining daily production. So it was very challenging, but it's also been very rewarding. As you can see, these are the 3 presses. They have 2 presses in KL, 1 press in Penang. These are double-width Goss colour liner machines, 80,000 an hour speed, with 255 folders. And some of the goals of the project was to improve their print quality, improve their productivity, reduce their waste, and improve reliability. So this meant recalibrating the entire press, adding additional systems to the existing presses. We did some upgrades to the folders, and reduced the risk of obsolescent parts. So any components that were not going to make the 2030 target date were to be replaced. That was their criteria. So here's a list of the components that were replaced, and the process was that they selected Goss to be the main contractor for this project, but it involved many other vendors. So we were like the master contractor, if you like, and the selection process for each of these vendors was done jointly between them and us. So we set up sessions where all the different vendors came and were able to present their products to the Star people and to our people, and to see how they would measure up in this overall project. So the selection process took some time, and here's the results. Baldwin, they had already spray bar dampening systems in the machine, but they wanted to upgrade to the latest constant C technology, which gave them better performance and less nozzle blockage in the machine. So that was one. The second was they were deciding whether to install blanket washers on the machine or not, and in the end determined that with some web cleaning equipment they could run their run lengths, their 400,000 copies, without blanket washing, and just run, and they felt it was more effective to wash the blankets by hand at the end of the run. So they installed Baldwin Jetstream web cleaning systems at every reel stand. So they, regardless of the quality of the paper, they were able to remove the excess dust, which caused a lot of their linting and so forth at the reel stands. They collected the dust, and I think the results have been good. They selected QI press controls, and not only for automatic cut-off on every web and register on every web, but also automatic fan-out controls on every web. So the double-width machine, they're able to they've got multiple scanners on each web. They're able to control fan-out on the run automatically. So they've got complete control of their registration. On the press, we, from a mechanical point of view, we decided that we would do an audit of each folder, because there's only one folder on each machine, so it was critical that we got the folders right. And then we selected one tower from each press and did an audit of the tower from a mechanical point of view to see what wear there was and what needed replacing, and we used that as the template for all the towers. So where there was mechanical components worn, they were replaced. And on the folder, there was there was quite a few upgrades available on the folder to improve performance. We put in new designed slitters in there, cylinder bands, lap adjustments, bending rollers, jaw levers. You know, many of the components that we'd seen over the years that needed to be improved, we replaced. They replaced all the drives and motors. So this already was a shaftless machine with 8 motors per tower. So it's a significant shaftless installation. And this was Indramat Bosch Rexroth installation. But the existing system was, from Bosch's point of view, they were not able to support it to the 2030 target date. So they decided to replace all the drives and all the motors. So it was major to do that. And they installed the new Indra Drive systems that give them much better performance, much better controls, much better diagnostics. You know, we can remotely diagnose every individual motor in that machine from our factory, right down to every individual drive. So there were some really significant improvements from that point of view. Omnicom, this is our own GOS control system. We installed a complete new control system, replaced the existing Honeywell desks that, at that time were considered to be state-of-the-art, but, as time goes on, the features are improved, so we put complete new desks in there and implemented a complete new control system. As part of the control system, we installed a plant-wide maintenance system. So their mail room, everything that needs maintenance in that factory is now on our control system, and that was new for them. And we also designed a special reporting system that they required, and it was customised to their needs and reported on the things that they felt important to them. And as well as a reel tracking system that tracked every reel through that factory, so they were able to see the performance of every individual reel, which reel had a web brake, and what sort of run lengths they got from every individual reel, and that was tracked right through the operation. And of course, there was a major retraining program for the Star staff on all this new technology. So you can imagine implementing all this new equipment and at the same time keeping the presses running every single day. We didn't miss a day, so it was major. The organisation and the planning was a major part of this. So you can see we had to plan, for all the different vendors not to interfere with each other and make sure that at the end of each day the press was back in running condition to get the paper out that night. So it took a long time and a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and you can imagine installing systems and then disconnecting them so the press could run the next day, coming back and reinstalling them, testing, and it was a long program. So it was an integrated approach. As I said, we were the main contractor, but we had to integrate all the other vendors from design, from service, from installations, and also we had a big involvement from the Star staff themselves. So they played a major role in installing the equipment, and in doing so they learned a lot about all the systems that they installed. And as I said, it all had to be achieved every single day. We had to get the presses back. So you can imagine we installed a lot of the drives, changed from one drive technology to another drive technology. We would install a new technology during the day, test it, then recommission the old technology so they can run the press. Back and forward, night after night of doing this. So it was major, but in the end it worked. I think it's just why they chose us to work with. I guess we'd been their partners for many years already, but we've got a lot of experience in press design. We assign people as project managers in our factory, in our engineering department, and we had project managers on site 24 hours a day at their plant to make sure that we didn't trip up and they didn't miss any additions, and then we got the job done. They had 24-hour access to our engineers, to our spare parts people, and they, as well as having the colour liner presses, they have 3 universal presses across the 9-tower machines, and the upgrades that we installed on the colour liners will also be available to be installed on the universal presses at some time in the future when they would decide to upgrade there. So there'll be a common platform of equipment. And that's about it. Thank you. think the entire project took us almost 2 years, actually. Yeah, it's longer than we anticipated at the start, but you know, it's just a major task. If we could have stopped the presses and done it, and then just restarted them, it would have been much quicker. But to be able to put it back and forth each day. I can tell you the cost of the upgrade was about, I think about $12 million. Yeah, it's hard to say. But it's maybe 10% of the, I mean, there's probably $100 million worth of presses, I would say, something like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, we went through a process. We got all the vendors to commit to that, and they all had to justify how they would do it, and they did, but it's to be seen.
Right.
Good.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks.
We've got a little gift for you full of